Hi everyone, I'm Max McKenna and I'm in Madison, Wisconsin with Kurt.
Jim Roseberry.
Martha Kaplan.
Scott Holder.
Roger McClanahan.
And we are reading The Wild and Wavy Event by Lorine Niedecker, Wisconsin's own. Kurt?
So, the poem is The Wild and Wavy Event by Lorine Niedecker. The wild and wavy event, now chintz at the window, was revolution. Adams to Miss Abigail Smith. You have faults. You hang your head down like a bulrush. You read, you write, you think, but I drink Madeira. To you, and you cross your legs while sitting. Later, how are the children? If in danger, run to the woods. Evergreen, oh evergreen, how faithful are your branches.
All right, Wisconsinites, there's a lot to do with this one. Where should we begin?
Title.
I like it. Which is also the first line of the poem. Martha, what's your gloss on the title? The Wild and Wavy Event.
Not a very precise one, but wild has a clear indication of nature or abandon of some sort.
Okay.
And unregulated. And
Sure.
wavy seems to indicate something that is pushed by the wind as water is, or perhaps pushed by time as an event. And I think later we could reflect back on that from another part of the poem, when the reference to event is. So it could be political,
Okay.
but very at an angle.
Any other thoughts on what a wild wavy event is like or what it could be specifically?
I thought it was the American Revolution.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's the multiple interpretations of the American Revolution.
Yes.
I like that.
Specifically, Lorine Niedecker wrote in a letter to Sid Corman that this poem could have been titled Abigail Adams and her account of Bunker Hill.
There you go.
And that is exactly what happened. There's correspondence from Abigail, formerly before marriage, Abigail Smith. And so that's what I think is going on here. The Wild and Wavy event could refer specifically to Bunker Hill or more broadly the American Revolution. And Niedecker was fascinated by the Founding Fathers, had books on her shelves about Jefferson,
Sure.
etc. So she, this was a special place of interest for her.
What would it mean for there to be multiple interpretations of the American Revolution, as you suggested, Jim?
Well, all historical events are seen and discussed by various human beings who have different perspectives and takes on it, different access to information.
Sure.
Are you on the front lines? Are you back home taking care of the kids? Whatever. And I think this is a brilliant depiction of that variety.
Any other thoughts?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Go for it.
The correspondence between Adams and his wife, when they were framing the Constitution later, she said, "Please remember the ladies," and they did not. So I think this is very pointed, having to do with chintz at the window, women in the house. There's revolution about, but you have your faults. You read, you write. I drink, dear. You cross your legs while sitting, please. And then, how are the children? And as if you are safe at home in your house, you better run to the woods if there's trouble. So I think there's a whole gender take.
Misogyny almost.
Well, yeah. I don't think there's any almost. And it was a very loving relationship at
Yeah.
the same time.
But
So-
different perspectives.
And she was very bright and had very important things to say.
bet.
Sure.
And really wasn't credited publicly
Well,
by him.
and she is drawing in a couple places from the wording from the actual correspondence
Yes.
from John Adams to Abigail. Before marriage, apparently Abigail had asked John, okay, tell me what are your faults? And so he wrote back and that's where you get the lines. You hang your head down like a bulrush. And you cross your legs. Okay, well, I guess there are worse things. But.
So
Whose legs are crossed?
And that also, that final, the second to last stanza, how are the children, if in danger, run to the woods, that was in fact, if in danger, run to the woods. Adams did write that to Abigail. So if the troops are coming, and he was worried about it.
there was intersection between civilians.
No, I wasn't disputing, of course.
Oh,
I mean, this is the explicit, but also I think it's the reason she picks up on these particular details matters.
And I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Yeah, no, I got that.
Yeah.
Okay. So the interesting thing is evergreen or evergreen. So now we have O Tannenbaum, essentially.
Good, very good.
So you have A Christmas Carol. So how do we deal with that?
I would say let's save that for later and go back to the beginning. So we got some stuff out on the table here. The correspondence between Adams and his wife Abigail, which is, I think we all understand this to be one of the founding myths of the American Revolution, right? Or it's a big part of the history of that. So with that in mind, and thinking a little bit about how Niedecker is complicating this part of American history or these documents in the American story, let's go back to the first sentence. The wild and wavy event now chintz at the window was revolution. So let's unpack that a little bit more and then go into the bits where she's quoting from the Adams correspondence, right? So the wild and wavy event now chintz at the window. Martha, you started to say something about the chintz.
Yes,
Does somebody want to?
But I suddenly read a new meaning into that. I think there's an emphasis on now.
Right now, chintz at the window.
Now
Sure.
there's chintz. It was a wild and wavy event. You could say then.
Is it?
And of course, Niedecker distills this. Now it's chintz at the window.
Isn't chintz in the window a reference to the flag?
No, I don't think so.
Chintz is a very domestic.
Domesticated, now we're
Yes.
living in like a suburb, and we have chintz on our windows. Everybody has drapes.
Sure.
But
But chintz is a lighter cloth.
it's a cloth.
Yeah.
See what I mean? A wavy cloth.
Yeah, that's true.
And so why wouldn't that
But it's very
possibly be a
feminine.
reference to
It seems
the
very-
flag as
yeah.
being the symbol of the revolution, which
But it's
Is-
very wound up with Abigail Adams, I think.
But
That isn't-
go ahead.
That isn't chintz. The word chintzy
yeah.
comes from chintz, which is, we all know, sort of cheap.
That's right. Cheap.
Cheap.
Yeah.
So,
And often floral.
and often floral, sort of a second-rate fabric.
And I'll pursue it until I get lose on it. The revolution is a glorious, wonderful event. This heroic effort and whatever. And now we represent it with this piece of cloth.
Well, and there's this jump though. Now chintz at the window was revolution. The wild and wavy event, now chintz at the window, was revolution. So revolution seems to go back, I would read, to the wild and wavy event.
Sure.
And now, chintz at the window, I think that's right to focus on now. So now it's chintz at the window. Now it's, we can look through, it's behind us. We can look through, it's safe, it's a domestic moment.
We're out of
we
the
have-
battlefield into the parlor.
Yes, and then we have 3 dots, which indicates a break. There are things not stated here, very explicitly with the 3 dots.
Ellipsis, yeah.
Is that what Trump does when he sends a tweet?
Yeah.
Right. The ellipsis can
Luckily, I
it can
think
do a lot of work.
Yes, it is taken on different meanings now, but we have this break, and then she's gone to a founding couple, you could say.
Sure. Which is, I like that, because that's a play on the founding fathers, right?
Right.
The founding couple, or something that's
Father.
more collaborative.
Mhm.
So how would the revolution go from being a wild and wavy event to being chintz at a window? What does that mean for that to happen? What process is that?
Decay.
Decay?
Domestication.
A domestication? Okay. Any other thoughts?
Taken for granted.
Sure.
Well, going back to not using the word decay, it's just because I watch and read too much news. But the ideals of the revolution, this great and glorious idea that the founding fathers had, today is nothing but chintz at the window.
Well said.
Decoration of some kind, right?
Well, you see people draping the American flag
There
around
we get
them.
back to that.
Just, that's the lowest use of. I used to think it was completely illegal, really, to wear the American flag as a, sort of kind of.
Obama was crucified because he didn't have the flag lapel pin. Yeah.
I had a friend that went to federal prison for wearing parts of an army uniform in the 1960s in Houston, Texas. That went to the Supreme Court and was overturned.
So chintz at the window, if we think of chintz as having some sort of pattern to it, weaved into it, could well mean that something on this cloth emblematic of the revolution, safe, contained, it's behind us.
You don't usually spend a lot of time thinking about the chintz at the window, generally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's light cloth. Usually you can see light through it. There's a window, you're looking out or looking in, but it's not a strong buttress.
So how would we characterize Niedecker's attitude towards the history of the American Revolution then?
Well, she feels that women were left out of it, so and frequently at that point of her life was probably the 50s, women were getting left out of everything.
And still left out of
And they're still,
it. Saying, boy, it's been a long time. What has happened?
I'm not sure exactly when this was written, but if it was during the McCarthy era, that might be very interesting.
I would guess that if not in the McCarthy era, it is not far removed. Does somebody have a date check on this?
I'm not sure all of the
I
things
could-
can be dated very well, but
I can dig it out,
I didn't
perhaps.
bring my collected, so.
Sure. So in a way,
Yeah.
I think with a certain degree of certainty, we can say that she may also be commenting on something happening in American political life in the mid-20th century. I think we can say that with a certain amount
I think there's another text here too. She's childless, except for the child that Zhukovsky would not let her have. And I think that was important to her, this issue of childness. Certainly all those poems to Paul indicate a kind of longing. So here is the woman who is childless, and there's a certain danger in that. And maybe she is also equating, if you get to the last verse, I don't know if we're ready for that, but if you get to the last verse, maybe she's equating the way Christmas is celebrated versus a deeply religious,
Oh yeah, I like that.
Good.
sense of the birth.
The tree being a kind of chintz
Yeah.
in the window of its
And
own.
there's an irony, because trees are wild, but not
Sure.
when they become the Tannenbaum.
Sure, no, exactly. I like
You know,
that.
so they're chopped down and they're decorated, but
Right.
they're not living anymore.
they're robbed of their wild and waviness,
And
right?
their life, ultimately.
And their life.
Well, what goes into chintz? Cotton?
Yep.
Cotton. Yeah, it's a cotton. Often it was imported from India.
Sure, it was popular starting in the 18th and 19th
Yeah,
centuries.
and I know in my grandmother's house there was chintz, and it was very floral and pink and kind of rosy with other, although it isn't always that. Sometimes it can be checkered.
So, in answer to when this was written, her letter to Sid Corman that I referenced, February 5th, 1962, and she enclosed poems to Sid, including this one, and said, in case you need these or want these, here you go.
Yeah.
So not far removed from the McCarthy era.
It's a
Yeah.
poignant observation of the
And
feelings of the moment.
yeah, 62
The beginning of
before JFK is assassinated.
Right.
the Vietnam War,
Was beginning.
Kennedy had already committed.
It hadn't
It's the
really
precipice of the
We had
1960s,
Yeah,
right?
had
about
really hit-
16,000.
You know, I'm old enough that 62, it hadn't really hit popular consciousness yet.
No,
It
it
was really
did.
65.
Yeah, 65 was the Gulf of Tonkin.
Yeah, and that was the
after
moment
that,
that-
that was even earlier.
But certainly for many people,
What you all forget, though, is that 1962, the San Francisco Giants won the World Series.
well,
Okay.
who could forget that?
So what's the use then of invoking this
Yeah.
correspondence between Adams and Abigail Smith at this time in the mid 20th century? What's the historical comment she's making, or another line of questioning? What is going on just in general with her invoking this correspondence
Well,
and quoting it?
in the village, and she did go to New York for a while. In the village, things were happening. I mean, this
Sure.
this is early Dylan. This is Dylan Thomas is in the village. So there are things happening in New York that aren't happening in Fort Atkinson, but she's corresponding with certainly with Zukowski.
But there's
So I think there's things under that are beginning to happen, and it's also following on the era where all the ads are the domestic woman.
Sure.
Post World War II, now go back to the home, and it's a tough era for women who don't have children or women who want to devote themselves to the arts. I mean, you think
Sure.
about.
Betty Friedan.
Well, also George O'Keeffe,
Sure.
where no children, if you want to be an artist. So
And this gives us context for this hysterical play on legs, right? Where
yes.
the legs brand
Yes.
comes to stand in for the body part.
Yeah.
How faithful are you? Well done. That's nice. How faithful are your branches?
but
And
then,
of,
Oh, how
course,
fa-
and of course, polite women didn't talk about legs. They talked about limbs. That's all the way back to Victoria.
Yeah, sexual.
You don't have legs.
You have limbs. I like that.
Abigail was, during Bunker Hill, Abigail and the children were at home. They were very close to the action. John was off at Congress, which was meeting, and they took it pretty easy. And there is a letter to Abigail where he does reference, well, we debate some, we talk, and then in the evening we drink Madeira. So, well, he had this kind of easy, arguably easy life. She was where the action was.
Yeah, he would
Right.
hang for it if they lose, but yeah, that's a very good point.
I think someone said earlier that this is about the role of women, pointing out that women here played a stronger role that ought to be recognized.
Sure.
So although John has this thing in here where he's criticizing Abigail before the marriage, well, not criticizing but itemizing her faults, she was very brave.
Your reading of what the founding fathers like Adams did at this time, Kurt, sounds very domesticated, right? They're almost like housewives. They We read, we write, we talk, we drink Madeira, we do it again the next day.
Although Hamilton and Washington, that's not true.
Sure, no, there was
Yeah.
there.
It was a little more complicated.
It was more complicated than that, but if we read this as Niedecker doing,
Sure.
making some kind of correction to these American myths, and trying maybe to restore women's roles in a way that goes beyond just the